Cognitive interfaces.
Chapter 6. Learning to live with uncertainty. It's a mantra I love to use as a boundary to cut through the entanglement and start thinking about something else. Sometimes conspiracies are so seductive that one would like to dive into the smallest detail and go untangle the most complex knot. The seduction of certainty and the labyrinth of doubt. There are moments when the mind, restless before the unknown, clings to any story that offers a sense of certainty. Uncertainty makes us uncomfortable, and in that unease, theories and even conspiracies are born that promise to explain everything. Like sailors lost on a starless night, we long for a detailed map that will free us from the fear of getting lost. Conspiracies usually appear on the scene precisely with that tempting glow. They offer a secret narrative where every small clue seems to fit into a grand scheme. It's easy to become fascinated, like an explorer in an endless labyrinth, convinced that the next turn will reveal the exit or the heart of the mystery. However, that frantic search for absolute certainties can become a labyrinth in itself. Sometimes I have found myself trapped unraveling theories for hours, following almost invisible threads with the hope of finding the truth. It is in those moments that I turn to the mantra, learning to live with uncertainty. These words work for me as a reminder to stop and step back before getting completely lost. Because just like a novel character obsessed with an invisible plot, we run the risk of drowning in details and losing sight of the life happening here and now. Learning to live with uncertainty does not mean giving up on understanding the world, but recognizing our limits. It means accepting that there will not always be a clear answer for every question, nor a master plan behind every event. Instead of seeing the lack of certainty as a terrifying abyss, we can begin to see it as an open space of possibilities. After all, there are no facts, only interpretations, said a famous thinker, suggesting that reality itself depends largely on the lens through which it is viewed. If we adopt that perspective, then each uncertainty ceases to be a threatening monster and becomes a blank canvas on which to project new interpretations and learnings. Mental algorithms and cognitive interfaces. The mind as interface. Our mind operates with mental algorithms, often automatic thought patterns that process information from the world. Like a computer program, these algorithms follow predetermined routines. Faced with uncertainty, perhaps one of our internal codes tries to find familiar patterns at all costs. We seek causalities even where there may only be coincidence. This impulse is natural. This is how the brain makes sense of chaos, but sometimes it plays tricks on us. A poorly calibrated mental algorithm can see imaginary connections, just as an overly sensitive motion detector sees intruders where there are only branches moved by the wind. This is partly where the seduction of conspiracy theories comes from. Our mental software prefers a complex story rather than accepting the void of not knowing. On the other hand, we have what we might call cognitive interfaces, the mental filters through which we perceive reality. If our algorithms are the engine, the interface is the control panel, the screen through which we interpret life. A cognitive interface shaped by fear and negativity will show a hostile world full of threats. In contrast, an interface tuned with curiosity and openness will reveal opportunities for growth even in the midst of uncertainty. In essence, our beliefs and emotional state act as colored lenses. They tint everything we see. The powerful thing is that, unlike a pre-programmed computer, human beings can review and reprogram our mental algorithms. We can update our cognitive interface. For example, facing an uncertain situation, instead of running the old panic algorithm, the one that triggers cascading catastrophic thoughts, we can pause and choose a different algorithm, that of the growth mindset. This mindset whispers to us that every challenge contains a lesson, that not knowing pushes us to learn something new. With practice, we can teach our mind that ambiguity is not synonymous with danger, but a fertile ground where creativity can be sown. In doing so, our internal interface is renewed. Where before we saw a dead end, we now glimpse an unexplored path. The history of humanity gives us clear examples of how these collective cognitive interfaces operate. For centuries, faced with inexplicable natural phenomena, cultures created myths and gods to fill those knowledge gaps. It was their way of programming a response to uncertainty, of giving meaning to the unknown. As if saying, we don't know why the earth shakes, but it must be the work of gods, and thus fear became more manageable. These are shared narratives that functioned as a collective operating system, allowing entire communities to coexist with the uncertain through the manufactured certainty of storytelling. Today, we don't worship Zeus to explain lightning.
but we create other explanations, scientific theories, or even conspiratorial ones that fulfill the same function of calming us in the face of doubt. This shows us that we are always interpreting reality through some mental framework. That's why it is crucial to consciously choose which program we want to operate with. Inner alchemy, transforming uncertainty into growth. Ancient mystical traditions provide us with powerful metaphors for transmuting uncertainty into something valuable. The alchemists of old sought to turn lead into gold. Today, we can reinterpret that quest as an inner alchemy, turning the lead of our doubts and fears into the gold of wisdom and strength. In Hermetic work, it was said, "As within, so without," implying that our external reality reflects our inner world. If within ourselves we manage to forge clarity and confidence, it is more likely that even in uncertain circumstances, we will find order and meaning. Living this process is not easy. It hurts and unsettles, and requires a measure of faith in oneself. This is where I find inspiration in that concept of the leap of faith. An existentialist philosopher suggested that to live fully, we must take that leap, trusting that, although we lack guarantees, there will be meaning or growth on the other side. Embracing uncertainty resembles standing at the edge of a metaphorical abyss and deciding to move forward anyway, trusting that either we will find solid ground beneath our feet or we will learn to fly during the fall. It is an act of courage born from the conviction that our life is not limited to what we know now. Focus on what we do control and release what we don't. As a sage reminded us, what is outside your control has no power over you. This simple idea acts as a balm when the external world becomes unpredictable. We cannot master the twists of fate, but we can govern our reactions. We have dominion over our decisions, over the attitude with which we face the unexpected. This is where uncertainty transforms into a teacher. Every time life shakes the ground beneath us, it invites us to look within, to discover in our character a new pillar on which to lean. Manifesting from within, symbols and the creation of reality. If uncertainty is a blank canvas, our imagination and intention are the brush with which we paint possible realities. Esoteric traditions have held for centuries that the mind possesses a creative power, a spark capable of influencing the material world. To manifest means to channel that inner spark, to turn our visions into reality. In uncertain times, practicing manifestation can be especially potent because it restores a sense of agency. Perhaps I don't control all circumstances, but I can design an inner vision toward which to direct myself. A classic technique is creative visualization, closing your eyes and imagining in rich detail what you long to see realized. It's not about instant magic, but about orienting our mental algorithms toward a clear purpose. Visualization works as a mental model. By evoking a positive and concrete image, we are training our mind, our internal computer, to recognize opportunities, to stay motivated, and not succumb to fear of the unknown. It is, in a way, programming the cognitive interface with an attractive landscape that propels us forward, instead of filling it only with the ghosts of uncertainty. Internal symbols also play a fundamental role in this process. Since ancient times, human beings have turned to symbols and rituals to connect with deep forces of the psyche. You can choose a symbol that represents your confidence amid doubt. For example, visualize an inner flame that remains lit even in the storm. That flame can be your resilience or your faith in life. Every time uncertainty threatens to darken everything, remember that image, the small flame that no gust manages to extinguish. Immediately, something changes in your mental posture. Instead of feeling at the mercy of destiny's winds, you recognize yourself as a navigator who, even in the tempest, keeps an inner lighthouse. Practicing manifestation and working with symbols does not eliminate uncertainty from the world. Nothing could truly achieve that. But it profoundly changes our relationship with it. We shift from being passive victims of the unknown to active creators of meaning. Instead of asking, "What is going to happen to me?" we begin to ask ourselves, "What do I want to create from what is happening?" That subtle difference in focus is powerful. It turns uncertainty into a field of co-creation with life. As an ancient teaching says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Uncertainty, seen from this new angle, may well be that teacher in disguise, waiting to reveal some inner truth to us once we are ready to see it. Between shadow and light. Learning to live with uncertainty is ultimately an act of surrender and creation at once. Surrender not in the sense of giving up, but of ceasing to fight against life for not giving us absolute guarantees. It is accepting, with humility and courage, that constant change and ambiguity are part of the fabric of existence. But alongside that acceptance comes the creative facet, the freedom to draw our own path in the midst of the fog. We can imagine this path as a trail that opens with each step we take. We carry in one hand the tools of reason, and in the other, the torches of symbols and inner faith. With each advance, the uncertain terrain beneath our feet solidifies because our confidence makes it real. The shadows don't disappear. There will always be parts of the path submerged in the unknown, but they no longer paralyze. Rather, they invite exploration. Let us remember the mystical inner pilgrim we all carry, the one who knows that in the darkness one may find not monsters, but hidden treasures of self-knowledge. On this journey, the analogies and symbols we have explored serve as our guide. Thinking of our thoughts as algorithms reminds us that we can debug the code when old beliefs chain us to fear. Imagining our perception as an interface helps us adjust the lens to discover beauty where before we only saw chaos. Inner alchemy teaches us that every crisis is raw material for transformation, that within the lead of uncertainty beats the promise of spiritual gold. And manifestation practices with symbols return the helm of our story to us, connecting us with that creative power that shines in the heart of consciousness. In every uncertainty, there is a seed of possibility. Living with it means watering that seed instead of pulling it out. It is declaring that although I don't control life's weather, I can decide what I'm going to do under the rain or the sun. Sometimes I will dance in the storm, other times I will build shelters, other times I will simply close my eyes and trust my intuition for the next step. Because within me, I carry something firmer than any external certainty. I carry the capacity to give meaning to what I live. And in that giving of meaning, even the darkest uncertainty can be illuminated with flashes of purpose and inner truth.